The Alien Council, an ancient and wise group from a distant galaxy, gathered for their most unusual meeting yet. Known for observing planets across the universe, they had recently turned their attention to Earth, a blue and green world, where the creatures were always doing something strange. Over the years, humans had fascinated them with their peculiar customs, wars, inventions, and now, something called an election. Earth's leaders were chosen not by age, wisdom, or battle, but through speeches, debates, and sometimes a lot of arguing. And 2024 was a big year for them. The council was intrigued and decided to review Earth's current candidates for what humans called the presidency. As they settled into their seats, a large screen lit up with the image of the first candidate. His face was stern, hair neatly combed, and his gaze intense. The aliens were surprised by the humans' intense expressions and hand gestures. One council member, known for his observant nature, said, "This one seems to like talking a lot. It's almost as if he's trying to convince people he knows more than he actually does." The others nodded, considering this observation. Earth leaders were different from their own. Alien leaders didn't have to convince anyone of anything. They simply knew what was best through centuries of wisdom. But this candidate seemed like he had to prove himself, and to the council, it was both amusing and puzzling. The next candidate appeared on the screen, and the council collectively tilted their heads, trying to understand her style. She seemed more calm but was talking just as passionately, waving her hands with excitement. The aliens watched closely, zooming in on her facial expressions and gestures. "Interesting," murmured another council member, known for her calm and thoughtful demeanor. "She looks less intimidating but very determined. I wonder why she needs so much energy to talk." Aliens rarely used such outward expressions, relying more on telepathic communication and subtle gestures to share ideas. This candidate's animated way of speaking was something that they found almost theatrical. They watched her answer questions with carefully chosen words, which made them wonder if she was as transparent as she appeared or if she was hiding something. As the council continued reviewing the candidates, they noticed a pattern. Every single one seemed eager to stand out, to make promises, and to argue for their ideas. They didn't just state facts, they worked hard to win over the humans around them. This was very different from the alien way of leading. On their home planets, leaders were chosen because they had already shown they could make wise decisions for the greater good, not because they convinced others through grand speeches. The aliens began discussing the concept of voting, something that seemed both fascinating and confusing. "Why don't they simply trust the most experienced and wise among them to lead?" asked one council member. Another replied thoughtfully, "Perhaps humans enjoy the excitement of choosing. Maybe they need to feel that they are a part of something, even if they're not the ones leading." As they watched clips of debates where candidates argued over issues, policies, and each other's ideas, the aliens found themselves chuckling. The arguments were heated, and sometimes even childish, yet humans seemed captivated by the drama. The council compared it to a sport they had once observed on Earth called boxing, where people would compete to see who was stronger or quicker. This election seemed like a verbal version of that sport. But what the council didn't understand was, why was there so much division? Why didn't the humans agree on who was best to lead them? One elder alien, who had observed Earth for centuries, explained, "Humans are a complex species. They value individuality, so they each have different ideas of what's right and wrong. They can't agree on one leader because they each want different things." This realization sparked a deep discussion among the council members. They reflected on their own societies, where unity was prized over individuality. Every decision made by the council was for the collective good. If a choice had to be made, it was never questioned because everyone understood it was for their species' survival and advancement. But humans, it seemed, were less focused on unity and more on making themselves heard. The council respected this as a unique characteristic but still found it odd. By the end of the meeting, the council felt they had learned much about Earth's elections but were left with even more questions. They wondered what it would be like if humans had an alien-style council with members chosen over centuries, bound only to wisdom and the collective good without any campaigning or speeches. "Perhaps one day humans will evolve to see the value in unity," one council member said thoughtfully. Another, known for his curious nature, responded, "Or perhaps we have much to learn from them about individuality." With that, the council ended their session, deciding to continue observing Earth's elections closely. They were eager to see who would emerge as the chosen leader and how that person would guide the fascinating, complex world of humans. As the Alien Council gathered again to continue their observation of Earth's election, they were prepared for more surprises. The screen lit up, showing scenes from recent rallies where thousands of humans cheered for their chosen candidates, waving signs and chanting slogans. The council was fascinated by the energy and devotion these humans poured into their political gatherings. One council member, curious about human behavior, noted, "It seems they gather in such large numbers to show support for their leaders. But what do they gain from chanting and holding signs?" Another council member, more familiar with human customs, replied, "Humans seem to find strength in numbers. By coming together, they feel they're part of something greater. Perhaps it helps them believe their choice is the right one when they see others agree with them." This concept puzzled the aliens because on their own planets, decisions were typically private, and there was no need for large gatherings to support a leader. Leaders were simply chosen based on experience and wisdom, and no further convincing was necessary. As the council watched the screen, they saw clips of each candidate giving grand speeches about their plans for the country. Each one promised better lives, more opportunities, and safer communities. However, each candidate had different ideas about how to achieve these goals. The council was intrigued by how humans could have such diverse views on similar issues. One council member commented, "They all want their people to be happy, safe, and prosperous. Yet, each of them believes in a completely different path to reach these goals. Why can't they agree on a single best way?" Another alien, known for her deep understanding of human culture, answered, "Humans value choice. They believe there's strength in different ideas and perspectives. To them, diversity in opinions is a way to find new solutions, even if it causes disagreement." The council members pondered this. To them, it was strange yet refreshing. They had never encountered a society that valued so many conflicting ideas. While their own societies thrived on harmony and order, humans seemed to thrive on debate and difference. One part of the election that especially amused the council was the concept of campaign promises. They noticed that candidates would often make grand promises about what they would do if elected, but the council had learned from observing past elections that not all promises were kept. This led to a lively discussion among the council members. Do humans truly believe that all these promises will be fulfilled? One council member asked, somewhat skeptical. Another member, who had observed human behavior for years, replied, "It seems that humans are hopeful creatures. They want to believe in change, even if they've been disappointed before. They're willing to give each new candidate a chance, thinking maybe this time it will be different." The council admired this resilience, though it was very different from their own experience. Alien leaders never needed to make promises, as they were simply expected to act in the best interest of all. The idea of trusting someone based on promises alone felt risky to them, yet they respected humans for their optimistic spirit. As the election season continued, the council was introduced to something else they found intriguing: negative campaigns. They observed how each candidate would not only talk about their own strengths, but also criticize their opponents, pointing out their flaws and mistakes. To the aliens, this was a strange approach. In their own societies, leaders focused only on their own strengths, and there was no need to bring down others. One council member, puzzled, asked, "Why do they spend so much time criticizing each other? Wouldn't it be more efficient to simply focus on their own abilities?" Another member thoughtfully replied, "Perhaps it's a way to help humans make decisions. By showing the flaws in their opponents, each candidate hopes to appear as the better choice. It's not about just being good, but about convincing others that you're better than everyone else." The council found this fascinating, though somewhat harsh. They could see how it created competition, but they wondered if it also divided people and created unnecessary tension. Finally, as the council watched the last days of the election campaign, they began to understand the true complexity of human society. Humans, it seemed, valued independence and the freedom to make their own choices, even if it led to conflict or disagreement. The council members discussed this at length, realizing that Earth's way of choosing leaders was perhaps not as strange as they had first thought. While it was different from the peaceful, unified approach of their own planets, there was a certain beauty in how humans allowed each person to have a voice. Perhaps humans choose their leaders this way because they believe everyone should have a say in their future. One council member concluded, "It may be chaotic, but it is also powerful. By giving everyone a choice, they allow every individual to feel that they matter." As the meeting came to a close, the council agreed to continue observing Earth closely. They wanted to see what would happen after the election, how the new leader would guide the humans, and whether the promises made would be kept. The council felt a new respect for humanity. Although Earth's ways were complicated and often confusing, they saw that humans were driven by hope, resilience, and a desire to make their world better. And while it was different from their own peaceful society, it was, in its own way, something the council admired. As the Alien Council continued their observation, the day finally came when Earth's election results were announced. It was a day filled with excitement, tension, and relief. Humans gathered in front of screens in their homes, cafes, and public squares, waiting to hear who would become their next leader. The council members watched as crowds of people cheered, hugged, and celebrated, while others looked disappointed or even angry. This mixed reaction surprised the aliens. On their planets, a new leader brought a sense of calm and unity, not such a strong range of emotions. "Why are some people so happy, while others seem upset?" asked one curious council member. Another member, who had closely studied Earth's society, explained, "Humans grow attached to their chosen candidates. When their choice wins, they feel hopeful and excited for the future. But when their candidate loses, they feel as if their voice wasn't heard." This idea of personal attachment to leaders intrigued the council. In their societies, leaders were more like wise guides who simply did their duty without drawing such strong personal loyalty or opposition. The aliens watched as the new leader stepped up to give a victory speech, promising to bring positive changes, unite the people, and work for everyone's welfare, regardless of who had voted for whom. The council noticed the crowd's reaction. People cheered and clapped, some with tears in their eyes. The aliens found this display of emotions touching but puzzling. To them, it seemed that humans placed so much of their hope and trust in one person, someone who might not even know them personally. One council member commented, "Humans have a strange but beautiful faith in their leaders. They seem to believe that one person can truly make life better for millions." Another council member added, "It shows their hope and resilience, even if it also means they're often disappointed when those hopes aren't met." As the days passed, the council observed the challenges the new leader began to face. Earth's society was divided, and while many supported the new president, others were skeptical, watching closely to see if promises would be kept. The council noticed that humans often held their leaders to very high standards, expecting quick solutions to complex problems. "Do they really believe one person can fix everything so quickly?" asked a council member, feeling slightly overwhelmed by humans' high expectations. Another alien, wiser in human behavior, answered, "Humans are dreamers. They want things to change fast because their lives are short. They may know deep down that quick fixes are rare, but they hope anyway." This discussion made the council reflect on their own societies, where time was seen as more fluid and changes happened gradually, often over generations. Leaders were not expected to solve everything at once. Instead, they focused on guiding their people toward slow, lasting progress. The council also observed how humans quickly began to question and critique the new leader's every move. News outlets and social media buzzed with opinions, some praising the new president while others were openly critical. The council was both fascinated and slightly confused by this. "It seems humans aren't afraid to question or even disagree with their leader," noted one council member. "Do they not trust their own choice?" Another council member replied thoughtfully, "It seems that humans believe questioning is a way to keep their leaders accountable. They don't see it as disrespect but as a responsibility." The council respected this approach but found it unusual. In their societies, leaders were rarely questioned openly, as everyone trusted their wisdom. Humans, on the other hand, seemed to see their leaders as both powerful and fallible, deserving both respect and critique. As time went on, the council continued to watch as the new leader faced both praise and challenges. They noticed that the leader often had to make difficult decisions, sometimes choosing between two options, neither of which would make everyone happy. These choices were often met with mixed reactions from the public. Some humans understood the complexity, while others grew frustrated, feeling that their needs were not being prioritized. The council felt sympathy for the leader, realizing that Earth's system placed a heavy burden on one person to satisfy the needs of a diverse and divided population. One council member reflected, "Perhaps this is why humans are so passionate about their elections. They know how much power their leader holds and how much that one person can affect their lives." They are eager for change but also fearful of being disappointed. In observing this journey, the Alien Council developed a deep respect for humanity's resilience and dedication to their ideals, even if it came with struggles and disagreements. Though Earth's way of choosing leaders was more chaotic and emotional than their own peaceful methods, the Council saw something admirable in it. They began to understand that humans, despite their short lives and differences, shared a powerful bond hope for a better future. The Council agreed to continue watching Earth's journey, eager to learn more about the unique and complex beings who inhabited this small, vibrant planet. Months passed, and the Alien Council continued their observation of Earth's new leader and the impact on its people. The Council watched with interest as the new administration faced its first major crises: economic challenges, natural disasters, and international conflicts. Every decision the leader made was met with waves of reaction, from public support to fierce opposition. The Council noticed how, despite all the promises and hopes from election time, it was impossible to please everyone. The leader's policies helped some groups but left others frustrated, and the Council saw how quickly some people's admiration turned to disappointment. They observed how humans poured their frustrations into protests, discussions, and endless debates on news channels and social media. It struck the Council that Earth's society had a constant hum of activity, with opinions bouncing around faster than the Council could process. The Council also marveled at how resilient humans were in the face of repeated setbacks. Though many felt let down by their leader, the people kept pushing for change. Some organized communities to help each other, while others petitioned for new laws or raised funds for issues the government couldn't fully address. This kind of unity, even when disappointed in leadership, left a deep impression on the Council. One Council member noted, "Humans have a remarkable way of adapting. Even if their leaders struggle to solve their problems, the people find ways to help each other. They seem to understand that no leader can do everything." Another Council member nodded, adding, "Perhaps that's why they keep going. They don't rely on leaders alone but on their communities, on each other." The Council had always known humans were social creatures, but witnessing this level of collective resilience brought them newfound respect. Over time, the Council began to see that the relationship between humans and their leaders was less about perfection and more about growth. Each leader, no matter how flawed, left behind lessons for the next one. Humans learned, adapted, and refined their expectations over time, demanding more from each new candidate. The Council realized that Earth's way of governing wasn't just about choosing leaders, but about evolving as a society. They watched as younger generations got involved in politics, determined to shape their world, speaking out for change even louder than those before them. This cycle of learning, disappointment, and renewed hope showed the Council that humans had a unique way of pushing forward, embracing both their victories and mistakes as steps toward something better. It became clear to them that while humans struggled with their imperfect system, it was also a system designed to grow and change as they did. As the Council prepared to conclude their study, they gathered to share their final thoughts. One of the senior members, who had initially found Earth's ways confusing and chaotic, spoke with admiration, saying, "We have learned much from observing these humans. Their path is messy, yes, but it is a path filled with courage. Each choice they make, every leader they support or challenge, shows their determination to find a way forward." Another Council member, who had been captivated by humanity's spirit, added, "There's something deeply inspiring in how they hope for change, even when it seems impossible. They are dreamers, and in their dreams they find the strength to build and rebuild." The Council agreed that, while they had their own ways of governing, there was wisdom in Earth's approach too. Perhaps, they thought, every society has something unique to teach others. With a sense of wonder and respect, the Council prepared to share their findings with their own leaders back home. They knew their report would surprise many, as they would be sharing a view of humanity that showed strength in struggle, hope in disappointment, and growth in imperfection. The Council now saw Earth's political journey not as a chaotic mess, but as a complex, evolving tapestry, woven together by the dreams, disagreements, and resilience of its people. As they prepared to leave, the Council members knew they would continue watching Earth with new eyes, understanding that while humans were far from perfect, their determination to improve and their relentless hope made them one of the most unique civilizations they had ever encountered.